Wow, it's hard to believe we're out here again. Another Bible study, but non-traditional Bible study. Non-traditional, but by the fact that we have multiple ways that we have instructors that are teaching the word. We are all about applying the word. That's what makes this non-traditional and doing applications. We have a special person here as we're applying the word. Miss Denika Seymour, how are you doing today?
I'm doing excellent.
Oh, wow. Well, welcome. We're so excited. You have blessed the church. I want to start off by saying thank you. And now we're going to learn more about what you do. So tell me, what is it that you do? I know what company, but I'm going to let you talk about what you're currently doing. And then we're going to talk about the blessings and going from there.
Sure, I would love to talk to you about it. So for me, I started my journey with Mass Mutual, North Carolina, about 3 years ago.
Okay.
I actually started my business a year before that, but I decided to partner with Mass Mutual, North Carolina, because it really was a company that I could get behind.
Okay.
The work culture was really great. I saw that they really wanted to get their people up to speed on what was really going on with the times, you know?
Okay.
And they cared about what it is that we cared about. I'm very much into diversity, equity, and inclusion, and making sure that minority businesses, that are, owned by people who are of color, women-owned businesses, disabled-owned businesses, those specific groups of folks really are able to get ahead,
Okay.
right? Because there's been such a barrier between wealth for those groups of people.
Right.
Yeah, and families, of
Right.
course, right?
Right.
Businesses and families. So when I connected with Mass Mutual, which is a comprehensive financial planning firm, an
Okay.
insurance company, Mass Mutual,
Okay.
I decided to, use that particular set of folks as the ones that I was going to work for. They're A+ company, been around for over 169 years, I believe.
169 years?
Yes.
Wow.
A little bit like Juniper Level. They've
Right.
been around a long time.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
they've been around a long time, and their clients are not just their clients. Their clients are the owners. They're a mutual company as
Okay.
well.
Wow.
So what that means is we are working for our clients.
Okay.
We're not owned by a stocks,
Okay.
so the company is owned by the individual participants.
And then they just help out
and yes,
and everybody just comes together.
exactly.
Wow,
So
unbelievable.
we're just making sure that our clients are our owners.
Wow.
Right? So
Wow.
because our clients are our owners, we have to make sure that everything that we do is in the best interest of those clients.
Now, are you at liberty to say who are some of those clients that?
Juniper Level is actually
Absolutely, 100%. Absolutely. We want to make sure.
Since I'm talking to Juniper Level, yes, you guys are definitely one of our clients, and we're just, ecstatic and happy that we can help in any way, shape, and form to prepare your congregation, to prepare this church for the next stage.
Absolutely. And that's been powerful for us because that's why we are excited about you being here today, about talking about what are some of the things. Can you break that down? Because I know that's your world that you live in every day, but for the person, not just at Juniper, but just anywhere who they are maybe just starting a family and they don't know about how to plan for the future, because it just seems like everything you just said is you want to start from if they're having maybe a baby all the way through college to retirement and to when that day happens that we know all is going to happen. Tell me, what do you have? Are there programs in between that Mass Mutual and what you are doing that that can help stabilize, bring some stabilization, but also some financial security?
Yes. So we really want to start with laying everything out for our clients.
Okay.
We're building we're building their life,
Okay.
Their financial future. What does that look like? Where do you want to be, all the way from the beginning, all the way to the end?
Right.
If you have people that count on you, if you weren't there, what would happen to those people? So you're having people counting on you. Either it's business owners who they have their employees that are counting on. You have mothers and fathers.
Right.
They have their children that are counting on them.
Right.
So we make sure that we do protection planning.
Okay.
That's so important.
What is protection planning?
Protection planning is risk management. So either risk of dying.
Okay.
We're gonna talk about life insurance, right?
All right. Sure.
And how important life insurance is.
Okay.
Life insurance can be used for so many different ways. Not only can you use life insurance, to protect your loved ones if something happens, whether
Absolutely.
you can use life insurance to fund school, to fund retirement. There's
Really?
there's so many different ways that you can use it.
Okay.
But folks, they're really not sure of.
Right.
They don't know. They just think, this life insurance is just in case something happens to me, and I'll leave this for my family. So, but there are so many different ways that you can use it.
Okay.
You can literally kill 4 birds with 1 stone with life insurance.
Really?
Yes.
See, and one of the things that we're excited about our partnership is so often we found that people didn't have any insurance at all.
Right.
And it became a burden for the family. And just as we are just working on even having a deeper relationship, we're now getting the members, and slowly but surely getting the members to understand how they need to have life insurance. And I guess that's where you start at, because
Right.
we're going to start with life insurance, but you said 4 different things.
Yes.
What are the 4? What do you mind sharing me what at least one of those 4? I know death. I mean, if I die, and maybe leaving an inheritance,
Yes.
because that's what the word says. You ought to leave an inheritance.
A good man, right? Leaves an
Absolutely.
inheritance for his children.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Children, right.
So life insurance
Yes.
could be used for that.
Yes.
And do you find, like, probably me, but did you find that inside? Did you find that oftentimes people don't have adequate life insurance, or the life insurance, it's some clauses or things that are there, maybe they didn't even know existed?
Both,
Okay.
right? So when you're looking at having adequate life insurance, it's really not one size fits all.
Okay.
Because it really depends on what you're using the life insurance for. It sounds simple. Oh, it's life insurance. It's just going to be used if you die.
Right.
It'll go to your children.
Right.
Right. But there's different ways that we use it. Like I said,
Okay.
one of the ways that you can use life insurance, other than someone passing away and you're leaving a legacy or burial,
Okay.
is to fund your retirement.
Wow.
Right. So
And
that
I've never heard, I've heard of that I know that there are 2 types of life insurance I can have, I guess.
there's 2 different buckets of life insurance.
Yeah, buckets, right.
But there's hundreds of different types within those buckets.
So 2 buckets,
yeah, so
one
you'll
may be
have
a
a
term.
whole life, right? And then
Okay.
you have a term.
right.
So when you're talking about whole life,
Okay.
there are so many different variations of whole life, and
Okay.
it really depends on what we're trying to, let's say, the strategy that we're
Okay.
trying to use.
Okay.
To go ahead and use that policy. What are we using the policy for?
Okay.
So, like I said, you could fund your retirement with it.
Because I may be 25 years old.
If you're 25 years old, that means you've got to get started at 25. Get started right then. The sooner you start,
Okay.
the better it is.
So that's a plug in for anyone that is watching the sooner. So we don't need to wait till
No.
I'm in my 30s or 40s or whatever.
Yeah, because you won't have time on your side.
Okay.
The more time you have on your side, the less amount of money that you need to pay into that life insurance. By
Okay.
the end of when you're trying to take that money, get the distribution out,
Okay.
you'll get more money out because that dividend will keep growing and growing
wow.
and growing.
Wow.
So another thing about Mass Mutual is we pay dividends, yearly
Okay.
dividends. We've never not paid a dividend in the whole time we've had. I think over 169 years.
That sounds strange.
I know.
When you saying you pay dividends, what?
Yes.
I mean, help somebody out with that now.
Okay, so a dividend is, a amount of money
Okay.
that we send out yearly to our owners, right? So, yeah, however much money that we get, and there's a portion of that money that is kind of like leftover. Let's think of it like that, right?
Okay.
You've got some money there that's left over in the account, that's set aside for our policyholders.
Okay.
So we're going to share that all out to everyone every year.
And every year since
since the inception of Mass Mutual, there's been a dividend that's paid out. And every year it's a different amount, but it's always paid out. And that's just something that we're really proud of. It's not guaranteed, right? But we've never not done it.
Right.
But we can't say it's guaranteed. But
I've been a part of many, and I've never gotten a dividend. Is that special for Mass Mutual?
Mutual companies pay a dividend.
Wow.
So, and depending on the specific company, the type of company, the number on what that is. So, because of the way that we're structured, that's how it works for us, and our clients love it,
right?
And I like it too.
Obviously. So, do I need to be married to be part of this?
No.
And is any age?
You can get a policy for pretty much any age. You can get a policy for a baby. So when you talked about life events, remember I heard you say, you just had a baby, you just got married,
right.
All these different life events, someone just passed in your life, that's a major life event.
Right.
So people come and see us between those major life events, before those major life events.
Okay.
Any time that they're thinking about their life shifting and changing, one thing that we know, our life is going to change.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. We know that there's going to be some change there. If we live long enough,
there's going to be a change.
There's going to be a change.
Right.
So when that happens, sometimes it helps us to think about, wait a minute, what do I want my future to look like?
Okay.
Right. So we help people prepare themselves for their future, not only for them, but for the people that they love and care about.
So it's not only life insurance then.
Mm-hmm.
So now life insurance is a part.
It's just a part. It's just a part.
What are some of the other things then that you find that people are not, and it's just going all the way across the different walks of life. What is there an area that you find that maybe we're underinsured or insured, but what about other things for finances on retirement?
So let's talk a little bit about tax mitigation.
Okay.
We help those clients with tax mitigation as well. What that means
believe me, I need help.
What that means is we try to find ways to strategically, use that money and not give it all to Uncle Sam, right?
Okay. Right.
So, within our tax codes, there's things that the government gives us as gifts, but if you don't know about it,
right,
you're not able to use it, right? Knowledge is what? Power.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So gone are the days where, you have to know this much, in order to, have millions of dollars. Now there's the internet. We can figure out a lot of stuff, right?
Absolutely.
We're able to, if we can actually kind of reach out and look, what about tax law?
Right.
And if you can't do it yourself, you come and talk to somebody that can,
Right. And so Mass Mutual, you're in that area, you're there to help and guide.
Yes.
And people may see that, over the last 4 or 5 years, the tax laws have changed.
Yes.
If you're a business owner, things that maybe we were able to write off, we may not necessarily be able to write off now.
Right.
And we need help. I mean, everyone needs help.
Right. And yes, well, other things like the PPP loans, I can
Okay.
even talk about that for just a second. A lot of our minority-owned businesses weren't able to get those loans because of the way that their businesses were set up.
Right.
They may not have had the correct documentation,
Absolutely.
or they may not have had their businesses set up in the right way.
Right.
So when you have advisors on your team that can help you with that can help you structure those things,
Okay.
it's going to be better for you.
Okay.
You could have gotten, people could have gotten so much more had they been able to
Have the documentation.
Right, had the documentation
Wow.
correctly
Wow.
done, or
Right.
if someone had, hey, wait a minute, you need this.
Right.
Do you have this done?
Right.
So it's really important to not try to do everything on your own,
Right.
to seek out help.
And to have some kind of guidance, because
Mhm.
oftentimes I've seen where business owners, they want to be entrepreneurs,
Yes.
and maybe haven't done the research. And unfortunately, something happens
Right.
they never anticipated. And so do you help business owners, as if they're just starting a business or they've been in business for years? Is
Yes.
Mass Mutual, you can help them also?
We can help them also from the very beginning,
Okay.
all the way till you're seceding your business
Oh, wow.
succession.
Oh,
So
wow.
we help all the way through. We
Wow.
are with our clients for the lifetime. It's
Wow.
not just we do this one thing, we're going to sell you this one thing. I mean, we can do that. There's two ways that we work with clients.
Okay.
If our client comes to us and we talk to them and we show them some of the things that they may need,
Right.
they may say, hey, that's all we need. We
Okay.
don't need anything else.
Okay.
And we respect that.
Okay.
And there's other ways that we work with clients where we will work with them in a holistic way.
Right. Right.
We look at cash flow analysis.
Okay.
Right. We look at the way that they are paying their bills down.
Right.
Are those bills being paid down in a strategic manner?
Right.
How is that being done?
So even if you've heard about the rollover techniques or whatever they're using, you're going to look at it, and you have, because this is what you do,
Mm-hmm.
no matter, and I think sometimes, as you said, knowledge is power. People feel like, okay, it's working, but are we maximizing our resources, and could we be saving more? Because
Right.
ultimately,
It's all about efficiency.
right.
So
And so you do that, you do all of that.
right. So when you are efficient, you're able to do so much more with what
Okay.
you have.
Right.
So it's like, would you rather, spend $20
Okay.
on the same thing, right?
Okay, right.
Would you rather spend $10?
It's gonna be 10.
It's going to be 10, right?
Absolutely.
It's going to be 10.
Right.
You still get the same result from
Right.
the 20 or the 10.
Right.
But what could you have done with that additional $10
Absolutely.
that you saved there? You could have
Absolutely.
put it somewhere else.
Sure.
So that's some way that we help folks. We take a look at what it is that they have.
Okay.
Because sometimes we may not have everything that we need at the time, but we know life is always changing and evolving, right?
And sometimes we don't know what we don't know.
Exactly.
And it's too late when it's a life-altering event happened.
Right.
And now we go, well, I thought I had this.
Right.
So do you also help I've got a child and I know they're going to school and I want to
Yes.
prepare for that?
Yes, we do. So when you're talking about either you're doing college savings, you're talking about their education, or even just setting up, a savings
Right.
strategy for their lives,
Right.
right? Not every child is going to go to college.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Absolutely.
Because that's just what it is. Not
Okay.
everyone will want to go,
Right.
right?
Right.
So there may be different ways that we look at saving for your child for the future. They may want to open up a startup.
And so you could have that set in
You
that
can
way.
have that set in that way, and cause those funds to increase in many different ways, whether it's we're doing investing or if it's doing it in an insurance plan that we talked about before.
Sure.
Because there's so many different ways to do it.
Right.
But what we do is when we sit down and we put all the cards on the table, each person is an individual.
Wow.
They don't have the same, everybody doesn't have the same,
Absolutely.
plans for their lives.
Absolutely.
There's different things that they want.
So you work directly with that person.
Yes.
And I do want to say, although we're working with Mass Mutual, it's totally confidential on what we have nothing to do with anything. We're just, hey, we're here because we are saying get help.
Yes.
And it's not time to come up with your own ideologies that really may be detrimental in the future.
That's right.
So you can help me with that. How about wills? Do you work with wills, or do you give guidance on going to an attorney?
We do.
Power attorneys and all of these. What do you find people? How often? And maybe you don't have that, but I'm thinking, how often do you find that somebody walks in your door and you can't help them in any area at all?
Not very often.
That's what I was thinking.
Not very often. There's somewhere, even if you don't have that much, you have enough. At least we're able to direct you in the right area.
Okay.
And to show you where you need to work on, what you need to work on first. Right. And nowadays there's just so many different ways that you can help yourself.
Right.
And we all start from somewhere. So when you were talking about, having a will and power of attorney, that is so important.
Okay.
You would be surprised how many people are walking around without a will or a power of attorney, and anything could happen, right? When their assets hit probate, probate is a court.
Right.
Where when someone passes away, all their belongings, everything is set up in that court where the state is going to divvy out what it is that belongs to you, unless you have specified what's going to happen to your belongings.
So you mean to tell me
your estate.
The state will just come in and have to, in their own way, I guess, try to figure out what you would have wanted for your asset.
That's right.
That doesn't sound right.
That's what happens.
Wow.
And the tax complications that go on with that's a whole other story. So it will really save a lot of headache.
If you have a will.
If you have a will. And it's so easy
to
have a will. You literally could write a will on a napkin. Everything goes to such and such.
And that's a will.
That would be considered a will in the court of law. Yes, it could.
Wow. But of course, going through Mass Mutual and probably.
Of course, there's other things that we would like,
absolutely,
to do.
Because.
But when push comes to shove, something is better than nothing, and you're able to download even a will online. There's just simple wills, which is called the simple will.
Right.
But if you need help and direction on where to go to for that, we'd be happy to help with that.
Right.
And direct you to the right area. As far as power of attorney, same type of premise, right?
Right.
If you were in a hospital or, you did pass away, you would have, designated what's called an agent.
Okay.
A person that you trust over your estate.
Right.
That will help decide where those things are going to actually be divvied out to, and how you wish, whatever your wishes are, that person would know. You would sign that over to them.
Right.
So those things are important.
Does that happen quite often, though, that an unexpected event or accident, people have a medical and they're here today and gone?
That happened to Prince and Aretha Franklin.
Are you serious?
Both of them did not have a will.
Please tell me that Prince had a will.
No.
Not at all?
I believe they may still be in probate after these years.
But Prince has been, and Aretha.
Yeah.
So probate could last for years.
For years.
And still you're counting on a judge or
Yes.
whoever oversees that
Mm-hmm.
to make a decision on what he or she thinks
Yes,
you would want.
that's correct.
And we've got all of these other people who are saying this is what he or she would have wanted, and they've got to make a decision.
That's right.
Yeah, I don't think I want to. I don't think
Yeah,
I want
so
anyone to make that decision for me other than me.
Take a few minutes just to kind of look over your life. Would this be what you want for your family?
Right.
And the stress of it all.
Right.
So
to go ahead and just take care of that, because if we could take care of those things, it would make all the difference in the world.
It would definitely. I say that the sooner you can do something like that, the better, especially if you have children,
Wow.
especially if you have assets like
Wow.
homes,
Wow.
cars, vehicles, whatever it is that you have. If you have those assets, you
Wow.
want to make sure that they are protected in that way.
And even I think that what if both parents were traveling
Mhm.
and they left, unfortunately something happens to them, they would also need to leave something for the kids.
Where are their kids going to go?
Absolutely.
That's another thing. You have to figure out who's going to take care of your kids after you're gone. Where does that?
Especially, and that maybe before they're not even 18 yet.
That's right.
And then, one of the things we were thinking about, and of course you're helping me on that, but one of the things I'm thinking about is even if they are 18, can they really handle
right
at 18 this large sum of money?
And a lot of times they can't. So that's another thing that you can go over with your financial advisor. How do you want those things to be set up?
Right.
And your different advisors, whether
Right.
it's a lawyer or your tax advisors.
Absolutely.
You really should have a team of folks around you
Right.
that's able to share information with you, and you can bounce questions off back and forth.
Wow.
Because if we don't have that, like you said, you don't know what you don't know.
And then now it goes into probate.
Now it goes into probate.
And we still got to know who's going to keep the kids.
Right.
And sometimes the best scenario may not even be the immediate family member. It may be someone else that's not even in the family, but the court system, then if you leave it up to them.
It's right.
Wow.
Yeah.
So Mass Mutual turnkey does all of this. And if you can't, you can at least direct.
Right. We can at least
everyone to
direct
where
you to the right area and where you need to go for that.
Wow. How, in conclusion, how rewarding is this for you? Does this cause you to get up out of the bed every morning and go, yes, I've helped someone?
I actually, when I wake up, right in front of my bathroom, I have a card,
It doesn't
little
say Mass
post-it card.
Mutual.
It does not.
Okay.
What it says is the reason why I wake up in the morning is.
Wow.
Or the reason that whatever my purpose is to.
Wow.
And one of those things is my purpose is to help people realize what their future is.
Wow.
And help them to bring their future
Wow.
into reality.
Wow.
Right? Help them to do that.
Because even if I'm a dreamer,
that's where everything starts.
Even if I'm Joseph in the Bible,
And everything came true, didn't it?
And everything came true. And of course, he then even helped others, helped his family. So all of that is so biblical, and it just sounds like Mass Mutual is there to, even it starts with, as you said, a dream.
Right.
And then we're going to help walk you through.
It's a journey.
And it's a long journey.
Yes.
And ebbs and flows and just ups and downs. But if you can go to bed more, I guess, comfortable knowing that you handle your business.
Yes.
So what would you say to anybody tonight one, we're going to have your name, Mass Mutual, call you, am I correct? You
That's
don't mind them calling. We want everybody
call me,
to call.
send me an email.
Absolutely. We're going to have that information. But what would you say to someone who they don't have the insurance, the will, the power of attorneys, financially, they're making it, but they don't have a plan, what would you say to them?
I would say that you need to start from somewhere,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
You need to know what it is you really have. A lot of times we haven't taken the time to actually write it all down.
Okay.
What did it say in Habakkuk? Write the vision and make it clear.
And so that he that reads it can run with it. Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
So if you don't have a vision, how can you make it clear?
Absolutely.
So you are able to write that vision down, what it is that you want for yourself,
Right.
and start making steps to get to those places.
Wow.
Even if you don't have everything right now, what you need,
Right.
or what you think you need,
Right.
it will be provided to you as you start to make, way into going into those areas. So
Wow.
you'll be surprised
Wow.
to see just at the minute whatever it is that you really need,
Right.
it comes.
Wow. Well, Denika, I just want to say to you, thank you, because it is always rewarding. You're teaching me, and still I got a lot to learn, and you're helping us, and you're helping Juniper Level. Tonight you're helping all of us. Again, I want to thank everyone that is watching. It's so much information, and we only gave you little snippets of where we are. There's so much information. Please call Denika, and we're going to be excited about that. I'm quite sure we'll have her number. You see her number now, her email address, as well as all of this. Denika, thank you again for being on here. We may have to call you back again, because I don't think I think we're in chapter 1, and there may be 20 or 30 chapters in this book. So again, thank you for being with us tonight. To God be the glory. We've had Ms. Denika Seymour with us. We'll see you next week.